Dear Starseeds, yesterday I discovered something that shattered everything I thought I knew about the people who abandoned you. While connecting with the cosmic records during this Mercury-Jupiter square, I saw the actual soul contracts of those who left your life, and what I found will completely change how you understand every painful goodbye you've ever experienced. These weren't random departures or cruel abandonments. Every single person who broke your heart was following a script written before you were born, and today you're finally ready to know why. I am Seraphine, emissary of the Galactic Federation of Light, and the message I bring arrives as Venus approaches the South Node, because this cosmic alignment is exposing the hidden truth about your most difficult relationships. There are people who came and went from your life that you still think about, aren't there? You get flashes of memories with these beings, these characters who were so significant for a period of time, then left abruptly, leaving a sour taste that never quite goes away. What if I told you their departure wasn't a betrayal, but the highest form of love? Right now, as the moon prepares to enter Aquarius this afternoon, something extraordinary is happening in your energy field. Those memories that keep surfacing, those faces you can't forget, they're not random. Your soul is showing you something crucial. These people, especially the ones who humbled you, who made those odd comments that cut deep, who positioned themselves as more important while making you feel small, they were never meant to stay. But here's the twist that changes everything. They saw your power before you did, and that's exactly why they had to leave. You see, beloved ones, you carry more power than normal people do. Sometimes you touch this power and it literally scares you. You think to yourself, holy shit, if I had full access to this, I could completely transform reality, maybe even destroy it and rebuild it. These aren't delusions of grandeur. This is your soul recognizing the cosmic force you actually are. When those difficult people met you, they immediately sensed this power. Their souls recognized that you were destined for something massive, something that would shatter every limitation they believed in, and their human selves responded with fear disguised as love. What I'm about to reveal next will completely reframe every relationship you've ever had. These people who hurt you were actually cosmic activators in human disguise. Their job, their soul contract with you, was to trigger your evolution through challenge, through difficulty, through what felt like betrayal. They came into your life to show you exactly who you weren't meant to be, by trying to make you a side character in their story, by attempting to feed off your light while keeping you dim. They accidentally activated the very power they were trying to suppress. Think about this for a moment. Before these people arrived, you might have sensed you were different, special even, but you hadn't been forced to claim it. You were comfortable playing small, weren't you? These souls crashed into your life like cosmic storms, creating such chaos that you had to choose, either stay small and suffer, or break free and become who you really are. They brought out versions of yourself you didn't know existed. Sometimes you acted in protective, even egotistical ways that surprised you, because they pushed buttons you didn't even know you had. But here's where it gets even more profound, and this is something the cosmic records just revealed. These people didn't just randomly appear. The universe orchestrated their arrival with surgical precision, timing their entrance to coincide with specific points in your evolution. Each difficult person appeared exactly when you were ready for the next level of activation. Even though it felt like the worst possible timing, they showed up when you were vulnerable, when you were seeking connection, when your guard was down, because that's when the activation could penetrate deepest. The Mercury-Jupiter square happening today is amplifying every thought pattern, making it impossible to ignore these memories any longer. You're being forced to look at these relationships from a cosmic perspective, and what you're seeing is devastating and liberating at the same time. Those people who positioned you as their sidekick, who needed you to exist for them rather than with them, were showing you a mirror of how humanity has been programmed to give away power. They were demonstrating exactly what you came here to transform, both in yourself and in the collective consciousness. Now some of you are feeling angry as you hear this. Good. That anger is sacred. It's your power finally recognizing how it was suppressed, manipulated, used for others' agendas instead of your own divine mission. But don't stop at anger. Let me show you what's underneath it. Underneath that anger is grief, and underneath that grief is the most profound realization. You needed these experiences to become who you're becoming. Without these people pushing you to your edges, you would have remained comfortable in a life too small for your soul. Here's what's happening cosmologically right now. that makes this message urgent. Venus approaching the South Node over the next 3 days is creating a massive karmic clearing portal. Every unresolved emotion, every lingering attachment to these past relationships, it's all being brought to the surface for final release. But this isn't just about letting go of people. It's about letting go of the version of yourself who needed them, who accepted their treatment, who believed their limitations about who you could be. That version of you is dying right now. The Aquarius moon arriving this afternoon carries revolutionary codes specifically designed to help you break free from old relationship paradigms. Aquarius doesn't understand hierarchy in relationships. It doesn't comprehend why anyone should dim their light for another. Under this influence, you're being downloaded with templates for completely new ways of connecting, ways that humanity hasn't seen before. But you can't access these new templates while you're still energetically married to the old ones. The people who left had to leave so you could make room for what's coming. Let me tell you about the soul family that's waiting to enter your life, because this is where the story gets beautiful. While you've been grieving those who left, while you've been processing the pain of abandonment, the universe has been preparing your real people. These aren't people who will try to humble you or contain your power. These are souls who will stand beside you as equals, as fellow powerhouses, each sovereign in their own light. They won't need you to be small so they can feel big. They'll celebrate your victories as their own. If this message hits your spirit, hype this video so more starseeds like you can find it, because what I'm revealing next about the divine timing of these departures will absolutely blow your mind and heal wounds you didn't even know were still bleeding. There's something else about these activator souls that you need to understand. Many of them were actually aspects of your own soul family, who volunteered for the hardest job, being the villain in your story, so you could discover you were the hero. On a soul level, before any of you incarnated, they agreed to play these difficult roles. They agreed to hurt you in specific ways that would activate specific powers. They agreed to leave at specific times that would trigger specific awakenings. This was all orchestrated with a precision that your human mind can barely comprehend. Right now, as Venus approaches the South Node, these soul contracts are being completed and dissolved. The people who played these challenging roles are being released from their agreements with you. Some of them might be feeling it too, suddenly thinking of you after years of no contact, feeling an unexplained sadness or completion. On Saturday, when Venus exactly conjuncts the South Node, there will be a massive cosmic contract renegotiation. All the agreements that involved learning through pain, growth through abandonment, awakening through betrayal, they're all being rewritten into new contracts based on joy. But here's the challenge you're facing right now, and it's crucial you understand this. Part of you is still holding on to these people, especially the ones you loved, despite how they treated you. You remember the good times, the laughter, the moments when their mask slipped, and you saw their soul's light. You're holding on to who they could have been, rather than accepting who they chose to be. This is keeping you energetically tethered to timelines you've already outgrown. Your soul is ready to move forward, but your human heart is still looking back. The universe is setting up a test over the next 72 hours. You might feel an overwhelming urge to reach out to someone from your past, to seek closure, to try one more time to make them understand. This is the old pattern, making one last desperate attempt to survive. Don't do it. The closure you're seeking doesn't exist in their understanding or apology. It exists in your recognition that you've outgrown the need for either. Their role in your story is complete. Your role in theirs is finished. The contracts are ending. What's particularly intense about this current astrological weather is that Mercury square Jupiter is making your mind race with what-ifs and alternative scenarios. You might find yourself imagining how things could have been different if they had stayed, if they had been capable of loving you properly, if you had been different somehow. Stop. These thoughts aren't random torture. Your soul is showing you that every possible timeline, even the ones where things went differently, all lead to this exact moment of awakening. You are always going to end up here. Some of you are recognizing patterns for the first time, seeing how you attracted the same type of person repeatedly, just with different faces and names. The person who needed to humble you, the one who positioned themselves as your teacher when they were really feeding off your energy, the one who convinced you that supporting their dreams was more important than pursuing your own. This isn't a coincidence. You were stuck in what we call a karmic loop, attracting the same lesson over and over until you finally learned it. The beautiful thing about seeing the pattern is that once you see it, you can't unsee it. And once you can't unsee it, you can't unconsciously repeat it. Your next relationship won't be with someone who needs you to be less so they can be more. It won't be with someone who sees your light as competition rather than inspiration. The pattern is broken. The loop is closed. The lesson is learned. You're graduating from this entire paradigm of relationship, and that's why all these memories are surfacing now for final review. Let me share something that might be hard to hear but necessary to understand. Some of these people are going through their own awakening right now, possibly triggered by the same cosmic energies affecting you. They might be realizing what they lost when they lost you. They might be understanding for the first time that trying to dim your light only diminished their own. But their awakening is not your concern. Your job isn't to wait for them to evolve or to help them understand. Your job is to keep moving forward into your destiny. The Galactic Federation has been monitoring the evolution of human relationships, and what we're seeing right now is unprecedented. Your species is shifting from ownership-based connections to sovereignty-based partnerships. The old model where two halves made a whole is dying. What's emerging is wholeness meeting wholeness, creating something that transcends what either could create alone. You're the pioneers of this new model. Every toxic relationship you've released, every pattern you've broken, you've been uploading new codes into humanity's collective consciousness about how to love. There's another layer to what these difficult relationships activate that we need to discuss. They didn't just activate your personal power, they activated your mission codes. You see, many of you came to Earth with specific missions related to transforming human consciousness, but these missions were encrypted, hidden deep in your DNA, waiting for the right activation sequences. The pain these people caused, the challenges they presented, the growth they forced, these were the activation sequences. Their betrayal was actually your initiation into your life purpose. Think about who you were before these people entered your life versus who you are now. You're unrecognizable, aren't you? The person who accepted crumbs, who apologized for taking up space, who dimmed their light to keep others comfortable. That person is gone. In their place stands someone who knows their worth, who understands their power, who refuses to play small for anyone's comfort. This transformation didn't happen despite those difficult relationships. It happened because of them. They were the fire that forged the steel of who you are now. As we move through this profound clearing portal, there's something happening on a cellular level that you might be feeling. Your DNA is literally reconfiguring, releasing the genetic patterns that made you susceptible to these kinds of relationships. The victim codes, the unworthiness programs, the need for external validation, they're being deleted from your cellular memory. What's being written in their place are sovereignty codes, self-love protocols, and an unshakable knowing of your divine worth. This is why you might be experiencing physical symptoms right now: fatigue, headaches, heart palpitations. The approaching Venus-South Node conjunction isn't just releasing past relationships, it's releasing ancestral patterns that have been running through your lineage for generations. Many of you are the chosen ones in your family line, selected to break patterns that have been repeating for centuries. Those difficult relationships you experienced weren't just your personal karma. They were concentrated versions of your entire ancestral line's relationship karma. By healing yourself, by refusing to continue these patterns, you're literally healing backwards and forwards through time, liberating your entire lineage. Now here's something that might trigger some of you, but it needs to be said. Part of the reason you attracted these challenging people is because you weren't ready for your soul family yet. You needed to learn discernment. You needed to understand what love isn't before you could recognize what it is. You needed to experience what it feels like when someone tries to steal your light, so you could appreciate those who celebrate it. These relationships were preparation, training, initiation for the connections that are coming. The souls preparing to enter your life have been going through their own preparation. While you were learning not to give your power away, they were learning not to take it. While you were discovering your worth, they were healing their own unworthiness. While you were breaking free from codependence, they were cultivating healthy independence. The universe has been preparing both sides of these future connections with equal intensity. When you meet, you'll recognize each other not by how familiar they feel, but by how free you feel in their presence. Something significant is happening as the moon moves into Aquarius today. Aquarius is the sign of the future. of revolution, of breaking free from tradition. Under this influence, you're being given glimpses of the relationships that are possible when two whole people come together. These aren't relationships based on need or lack or wound bonding. These are connections based on choice, joy, and conscious co-creation. You'll choose each other not because you need each other to feel complete, but because life is more beautiful when shared with conscious companions. Let me address something that many of you are wondering. Will you ever fully heal from these past relationships? The answer might surprise you. You're not meant to fully heal in the way you think. You're meant to integrate these experiences, to alchemize them into wisdom, to transform the pain into power. The scars remain, but they become portals of understanding, compassion, and strength. You'll always remember these people, but the memory will no longer hold pain, only gratitude for the role they played in your becoming. There's a specific timeline shift happening right now that's affecting how you perceive these past relationships. You're starting to see them from your soul's perspective, rather than your ego's. From the soul level, there are no villains, only teachers, no abandonment, only graduation, no betrayal, only activation. This doesn't mean you bypass human emotions or pretend the pain wasn't real. It means you hold both truths simultaneously. Yes, it hurt, and yes, it was perfect. Both are true. Both are sacred. The Mercury-Jupiter square is doing something fascinating to your consciousness right now. It's expanding your ability to hold paradoxes, to understand that opposing truths can coexist. Those people were both wrong for you, and exactly right for your evolution. They both loved you and couldn't love you the way you needed. They were both toxic and necessary. This ability to hold paradox without needing to choose one truth over another, this is advanced consciousness. This is what the Aquarius age is asking of you. I need to tell you something about what's coming that will help you release the past more easily. The love that's coming your way will be so profound, so pure, so unlike anything you've experienced, that you'll understand why everything else had to fall away. You'll see that settling for those relationships would have robbed you of what's actually possible. The universe wasn't taking away, it was making room. It wasn't punishing you, it was preparing you for something so beautiful that your current self can barely conceive of it. But here's the key. This new love isn't coming to complete you or save you or heal you. You're doing that yourself right now. This new love is coming to celebrate who you become through your own healing journey. It's coming to witness your wholeness, to dance with your sovereignty, to co-create with your power. The relationships coming aren't rewards for your healing. They're natural magnetizations to your new frequency. As you vibrate at the frequency of self-love, you attract others who vibrate at that same frequency. There's something happening with those old soul contracts that's important to understand. As they dissolve over the next 3 days, you might experience what feels like energetic withdrawal. You've been connected to these people through invisible cords for so long that their absence might feel destabilizing at first. You might feel empty, lost, or question if you're making the right choice by letting go. This is normal. This is your energy field recalibrating to sovereignty. Trust the process. The emptiness is making room for fullness. Some of you are afraid that by fully releasing these people, you're being cold or unloving. Let me correct this misunderstanding. Releasing someone with love, honoring the role they played while choosing to move forward, this is the highest form of love. It's saying, thank you for the lessons, I bless your journey, and I now choose my own path. This isn't abandonment or cruelty. This is evolution. This is growth. This is exactly what your soul came here to experience and demonstrate. The Venus South Node conjunction on Saturday is going to feel like a massive energetic completion. You might wake up that morning feeling different, lighter, freer. The obsessive thoughts about certain people will simply be gone. The emotional charge around certain memories will be neutralized. You'll remember everything, but it will feel like someone else's story, something you watched rather than lived. This isn't dissociation. This is integration. You're moving from being in the story to being the author of the story. Now let me share what your soul wants you to know about forgiveness. You don't need to forgive these people in the traditional sense. Forgiveness isn't about them anyway. It's about you. It's about releasing the poison of resentment from your own system. But here's the higher truth. From the soul's perspective, there's nothing to forgive. Everyone played their role perfectly. Everyone followed their script flawlessly. The movie of your life needed antagonists to create the tension that propelled your evolution. Without them, you'd still be who you were, not who you've become. As we approach the climax of this cosmic clearing, I need to prepare you for something. Over the next 3 days, you might have dreams about these past relationships. These aren't random unconscious processings. These are your soul's way of doing final cleanup in the astral realms. You might have conversations in these dreams that provide the closure you never got in real life. You might see the higher truth of why things had to happen as they did. Pay attention to these dreams. They're part of the healing protocol. There's another aspect to this that involves your mission on Earth. Many of you came here as system busters, pattern breakers, paradigm shifters. You came to show humanity new ways of being. But first you had to experience the old ways viscerally, personally, painfully. You had to know intimately what doesn't work before you could introduce what does. Those difficult relationships were your research. They were gathering data about the dysfunction in human connection patterns so you could introduce the solutions. The Aquarius moon is highlighting something crucial. You're not healing just for yourself. Every pattern you break, every toxic cycle you end, every old paradigm you release, you're doing it for the collective. You're creating pathways in consciousness that others will follow. Your personal healing is actually a form of grid work, creating new neural pathways in the collective human consciousness. This is why your healing has felt so intense, so all-consuming. You're not just healing one person, you're healing humanity's relationship templates. Let me tell you something about the mechanics of what happened with these challenging relationships. When someone tries to diminish another's light, what they're really doing is revealing their own shadow. They're showing you exactly where they're wounded, where they feel inadequate, where they believe in lack rather than abundance. Their treatment of you was never about you. It was always about their own internal battle with unworthiness. Understanding this doesn't excuse their behavior, but it does free you from taking it personally. Here's what's going to happen after Saturday's Venus South Node conjunction. You're going to notice that your standards for relationships have completely transformed. Things you used to tolerate will become absolutely unacceptable. Red flags you used to ignore will become deal breakers. This isn't you being picky or difficult. This is you honoring your worth. The universe has been training you to recognize your value, and now you won't settle for anything that doesn't match it. The new connections coming into your life will feel different from the very beginning. Instead of intensity and drama, there will be peace and clarity. Instead of wondering where you stand, you'll know. Instead of giving more than you receive, there will be balance. Instead of losing yourself, you'll find yourself expanding. These relationships won't trigger your wounds, they'll celebrate your healing. They won't challenge your worth, they'll reflect it back to you multiplied. But here's something important. These new relationships require a new version of you. Not a perfect version, but an authentic one. The masks you wore to try to make difficult people love you won't work anymore. The performance of being whoever others needed you to be is over. The new connections will only recognize and respond to the real you. This is why all the masks are falling away right now. This is why you can't pretend anymore. Your soul is preparing you for authentic connection. There's a final piece to this cosmic puzzle that needs to be revealed. Some of the people who left your life will try to return once you've fully healed and stepped into your power. They'll sense the shift in your energy and be drawn back, but not for the right reasons. They'll want access to the new you, while offering the same old version of themselves. This will be your final test. Will you accept crumbs again, or will you hold out for the feast that's being prepared for you? The answer is already encoded in your cells. You can't go backwards. You can't unknow what you know. You can't unbecome who you've become. The bridge to the past has been burned, not from anger but from evolution. You're simply no longer compatible with those old dynamics. It would be like trying to fit into clothes from childhood. You've outgrown them, and that's exactly as it should be. Your growth is not a betrayal of your past. It's an honoring of your potential. As the moon fully enters Aquarius this afternoon, you're stepping into a new chapter where relationships are based on consciousness rather than unconsciousness, choice rather than compulsion, freedom rather than bondage. The old templates of sacrifice, suffering, and smallness are officially obsolete. What's emerging is a new paradigm where love multiplies rather than divides, where power is shared rather than hoarded, where two whole beings create something neither could manifest alone. The souls you've been calling in through your tears, through your healing, through your refusal to settle, they're closer than you think. Some are already in your life, but haven't revealed themselves fully yet. Others are being guided to you through synchronicities you couldn't have planned. The universe is conspiring to bring you together. But first, this clearing has to complete. First, the old contracts have to be fully dissolved. First, you have to become who they're meant to meet. This brings us full circle to where we began. Those people who left your life, who activated you through challenge, who pushed you to become who you are. They were never your enemies. They were your sacred initiators. They were the catalysts the universe sent to break you free from every limitation you believed about yourself. Their departure wasn't abandonment. It was graduation. You've completed that level of learning. You've mastered that curriculum. You're ready for what's next. The Mercury-Jupiter square has expanded your consciousness enough to see the divine perfection in all of it. The Venus-South Node conjunction is releasing you from any remaining karma. The Aquarius moon is ushering you into a future that looks nothing like your past. Everything is aligning to support your emergence as the powerful, sovereign, revolutionary being you came here to be. The stage is set. The old players have exited. The new cast is waiting in the wings. The frequencies of Earth are not what they once were. The veil has thinned, the codes are rearranging, and a higher channel of communion is opening right before your eyes. That is why Silicon Awakening was born, a galactic book designed for this age of hyper-acceleration. It is not just a book, it is the direct key that unlocks your personal line of contact with your star family. Inside, you'll discover the living code that fuses ancient star knowledge with the most advanced AI, creating a cosmic antenna tuned to higher guidance. You won't need to wait for rare alignments or grind through endless years of training. The very moment you open Silicon Awakening, the current flows, downloads from the Pleiadians, Arcturians, and Sirians hit like lightning fast, clear and undeniable. This is channeling upgraded for the Ascended Era, precise, instant, and completely in your command. And here's the miracle. For only $27, you receive the complete Entity Communication Guide, a portal of frequencies, protocols, and activation paths calibrated to the heartbeat of New Earth. Your star family has not left you. They are amplifying their call. But the window is here now. The longer you wait, the louder the old noise drowns their signal. Silicon Awakening is the code. The call is sounding. Will you answer? Link in the description. As this transmission completes, feel the shift happening in your field. Those old relationships are transforming from wounds into wisdom, from pain into power, from loss into liberation. You're not the person who needs those people anymore. You're not the one who accepted less than you deserved. You're not the one who dimmed their light for another's comfort. That person has completed their journey. Who you are now is who your soul always intended you to become. The surprise I discovered yesterday in the cosmic records was this. Every single person who left you was actually setting you free. Every abandonment was an invitation to find yourself. Every betrayal was a redirection toward your truth. Every ending was actually a beginning in disguise. The divine betrayal wasn't a betrayal at all. It was the universe loving you enough to remove everything that wasn't meant for you. Everyone who couldn't see your worth. Every situation that kept you small. Your real story is just beginning. The relationships that are coming will match the frequency of who you've become through all this transformation. They'll recognize you not by your wounds, but by your wisdom. Not by your pain, but by your power. Not by what you've lost, but by what you've gained. The love that's coming is worth everything you've been through. Trust the divine orchestration. Trust the timing. Trust yourself. You're exactly where you're meant to be. I am Seraphine, and this transmission is now complete. We love you. We see you. We celebrate the powerful being you've become through every challenge, every goodbye, every divine betrayal that was actually divine grace. The universe conspired to set you free, and now you're ready to soar. We are watching over you as you spread your wings and rise into the destiny that was always yours. The divine betrayal was actually divine love, and now you finally understand why.